What is going on, guys? Chris at Hog Exotics here. Today we have out the red-tailed green rat snake. Now, first thing I'm going to say, once I establish my arm safe, one thing I'm going to say is if you see the tail on these guys, they're not actually red, okay? So, you know, I never named the snakes. I'm colourblind, so if I'm honest with you, I'm not sure what colour these tails are, but I can tell you it's not red. Now, these are absolutely beautiful, beautiful animals. I'm just having a good smell in my arm there. And these snakes are very, very unpredictable. So the problem is they're very defensive snakes. And because they're so unpredictable, they go from being perfectly fine to absolute monstrosities in a matter of seconds. And it's quite hard to predict what they're going to do next. So one of the things with these guys is always just be very, very gentle when handling them. You know, you have to be confident as well with these guys, just like the king rat snakes. The difference is with the king rat snakes you have to be quite firm, whilst also being soft at the same time, whilst these guys are absolutely, it's a must that you be very, very gentle. Now of course there'll be a few specimens out there that are perfectly fine. There's a few names for these guys. Red-tailed rat snake's one of them. Also go by red-tailed racers, and also the arboreal rat snake. Now I personally like to call them face hunters. And you'll see, it doesn't matter what way I move, the snake is focused on my face. And I don't know why they do it. I really don't know why. But they just love to look at your face. They love to try and intimidate you. So it doesn't matter what way I go, the snake is just going to track me. So I can't even get her to look down the camera at you. The snake is just in pure, your face is getting it. They do have an amazing blue tongue. Now one thing that I do want to show you if she does it, that's my arm. Don't be giving me any scars in the tattoo, please. Now one thing I'm going to try and do here, without getting bit, just pick her up. Might not necessarily go to plan, but so far so good. Like I say, really gentle with these guys. They have amazing. You're going to be difficult. I'm trying to show you your tongue. Look at the camera. Right, now I'm wearing a pair of snake handcuffs. Come on, let me go somewhere. I know, you're getting closer to my face and it's not happening today, I'm afraid. Let go of me. Beautiful, thank you. Straight back to the face. Anyway, you tend to find these guys in Southeast Asia, to be exact. Places like Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia. Yep. Okay, come on. Let's say they are very unpredictable. Out of all the snakes that I have, this is by far the snake that I cannot read very well. No, I can't. But you're very beautiful. Now, they do actually have a sac kind of under their throat, not under their throat, but in that area. And they fill that with air to make themselves look bigger than what they actually are. Just a display threat, should I say. And every time I try to show you, she stops doing it. Which of course is typical of animals, they're not performing monkeys, so, you know, I can't get them to do it on command. But never mind. Oh, I see you. Yeah, I do, I see you. Like I say, face hunters. Beautiful animal. Absolutely stunning. These are actually diurnal species, so they come out during the day. They're not really nocturnal, to be honest with you, and they are arboreal, so very rarely will you find these on the ground. In their natural habitat, they tend to stick to sort of tropical forests and things like that. They're quite high humidity as far as these kind of rat snakes go. So yeah, you don't really find these in dry places. One of the problems you have with these in captivity is if you have them too wet, they will actually start to get rotten scales. And some will even get some blisters and things, so you have to be very careful about that. And I believe the last time I checked, these were classed as intermediate/advanced species. So, if you want a corn snake, this is certainly not your next step up. But in all honesty, I've personally found these quite easy to keep. Same as any animal, do some research. Make sure you have all your setup spot on before adding any animal. And you should be generally quite fine. But please don't jump into these kind of animals. It's an old world rat snake, and they tend to have quite a reputation. Now, out in the wild, you'll tend to find these things like bats and birds, and what they actually do when they're up in the trees is they'll catch them mid-air. A bird will be flying by or a bat, and they'll actually strike out and grab it. It's quite amazing. I don't think if I was up a tree I could catch a bird, that's for sure. So out in the wild, these guys would certainly outgame me. Wouldn't you? Yes. But you've probably been on the planet longer than me, so that's going to be my excuse. Yes, it is. Now, they are bright green. So if they're up in the trees and a bird of prey or something was to fly over and looking down, it would be pretty much almost invisible to see the snake. It would blend in so well with the leaves on the trees. So the chances of seeing this snake would be quite slim. They do have very smooth scales, and that helps them climb trees, moving through branches and things like that. So they're very well adapted for tree climbing. Now, I would like to be able to show you this snake's face a bit more, but like I say, because I call them face hunters, they're very much locked onto your face. I'm actually getting quite a dead arm, to be honest with you. The thing is, these snakes aren't even heavy. They're very, this is a fully grown adult female. They don't get all that big, they're quite slender animals. I think, she's probably 5 or 6 feet. I've never had the chance to actually measure her because they're always up in the branches and things like that, so it's quite hard. Even just getting these out the tank can be quite a challenge sometimes. They're so quick at moving in between the branches, wrapping around them with things. They're you can tell when you see these animals moving in their tank that they're designed for the trees, and they're very, very good at what they do. Very good, aren't you? You're going to show people what you look like. Come on. You would make a very good model. Now, there's been reports of the females of these getting up to 8 feet. I've never personally seen anything of this species getting that size. These are all just kind of things that you hear of. It's not something I've personally witnessed. Thank you. You're making my watch cut blood off to my hand. There we go. Show everyone how beautiful you are. The one thing they do have is that amazing slow flicking tongue, and when it flicks, the tongue goes separate ways, and actually I always think it looks a bit like a little moustache if you were to draw a moustache on someone. So it's honestly, it's one of the most mesmerising snake tongues I've ever seen. I remember when I first got into this species, honestly it was probably one thing I stared at the most, the tongue. Now, if I'm honest, these are actually more of a display species. They're not the greatest that have been handled. She's been very, very well behaved. I'm quite surprised at how well behaved she is. Now, I'm not giving you the finger here. I don't know if you can even see it, but on the way out the tank she decided to grab a hold of my finger. Just a little love bite, so nothing dramatic. And when she done that, I thought this is going to be a fantastic video. We're going to be full of holes at the end of it, but she's actually been very well mannered. I'm quite pleasantly surprised at that. Now we're going to stretch out. What's wrong? You startle yourself. They're not very big. Not very big. Hopefully get a look at your markings. I do have these kind of stripes going up and down them. Yes. Out in the wild, these guys, let's say Singapore, Asia, you get them in, they're actually in quite a lot of places. I believe that you can even find these guys in India and things, so they're actually quite widespread sort of the whole Southeast Asia, and like I say, in places like Thailand and things. So you would tend to find these guys out in the wild. I'm stretching out. You tend to find these in sort of your lowland tropical forests and things like that. So nice kind of wet vegetation and most lot trees. Very rarely would you find one of these down the ground. Now this is actually, let's say this is my adult female, and she is part of a pair. So I do have the male that goes with her. And this girl laid eggs probably about a month and a half, 2 months ago. Unfortunately, the first egg she laid was infertile, and the second one was fertile, but unfortunately it had a little window on the egg, and it rotted. The window itself rotted, so the egg died, which is unfortunate, but you know, we'll try again with these guys next year. Now these, I actually personally keep these together in a tank all year round. Yes, we do. Your house with your boyfriend, aren't you? And they're perfectly healthy. I never meant to say healthy there, I meant to say happy. They're perfectly healthy as well, of course, but so yeah, I do like to keep these guys in beside each other, and they have a nice big tank so they can get away from each other. Yes, but if I'm honest, they're never apart. They're always sitting beside each other. Yes. You like your boyfriend. So this here is a male red-tailed rat snake. This is the female's counterpart. In this snake, you'll see the very first thing, identical snake. The only difference is these are quite a bit smaller. So he's a lot skinnier. Not much skinnier, but he is quite a bit skinnier compared to her. Don't do it. So, you know, snakes always have to be difficult, don't they? I'm not going to say anything bad about you because you're being quite behaved as well right now. Yeah. Now, to be honest with you, this guy is actually the better one of the two, so I'm not really expecting, well, hopefully I'm not going to get bit off him. He's only bit me twice or so. I would like to keep that count. Yes. But again, same snake, same kind of markings. I really need to stop wearing watches when handling these snakes because they all seem to grab a hold of them. So yeah, again, you can see the markings on these guys. And this is the red tail. I don't know what colour you would call that, but I personally would not say it's red. Beautiful animals. The scales on these guys, like I say, are very smooth, and they're just absolutely stunning. yeah, red-tailed green rat snake. Beautiful animal for any sort of intermediate to advanced keeper. You know, if you're going to get into rat snakes, I suggest you start off with the New World rat snakes, get used to how they move about and things, and then try going on to something maybe like a Taiwanese beauty rat snake, one of the sort of camel of the bunch. You know, I don't recommend jumping straight into rat snakes, low laurels at least, and getting something like this, or maybe something like a Vietnamese blue beauty. Some people will say Vietnamese blue beauties are beginner snakes. They're not hard to look after, don't get me wrong, but I don't think they have the attitude to be classed as a beginner snake. And these guys, like I said, they're not the hardest animals to look after, but you do have to get it right with these guys. And the biggest problem is, in fact, skin issues. So we are going to pop this guy back. We'll pop back before I try my luck too much. Yes, he says, oh no, there's still time to get popped at, Dad. But yeah, red-tailed green rat snake, stunning animals. Handling wise, not the best. Display species, I would probably stick to keeping them display. But yeah, I'm not saying you can't handle them, you can clearly see you can handle them, but you're more than likely going to take a bite at some point. Now you can say that about any snake, but these kind of animals expect it more than a royal python anyway. So we're going to pop him back in. Let him do his own thing. He can go back to see his girlfriend. So yeah, red-tailed green rat snake, amazing species, beautiful animals. Don't jump into them. Do your research. With most beautiful animals, the problem is the nicer it looks, the worse it tends to be. It's nature's way of saying, you know, back off. Keep me at a distance. I'm not very nice. Okay, do your research, you'll be fine. But until the next video, guys, Chris at Hogs Exotics here, and take it easy.